What if I told you that if you have done everything in your powers and the problem or the situation hasn't still changed in your life, it's time to let go and let God?
There was this old woman in Africa. She was taking a young guy through the savannah. They went on a safari and they were hiking for several months. And at one point, the old lady was saying to the young guy, "Jack, we're being followed by lions. I don't know if they're just curious or if they're interested in eating us." And Jack was immediately nervous and scared. He was looking around. He couldn't see anything. He looked in the bushes. Couldn't see anything out of the ordinary. But she knew. She knew something was happening. After walking for a while, and she was very alert, very observing. She was looking at every grass, if it is straight or if it is bent. And after some time she was saying, "Jack, they're after us now. We're being stalked by lions and they're after us now." They were stopping at a tree, a very big, thick tree with very long, sharp thorns. And she found a branch on the ground and she took it and she said, "Jack, bring as many of these branches as you can find and be quick. We have no time to waste." Jack went around and he was searching for those branches. He was collecting them, he was touching them, and the thorns were cutting through his hands and he was bleeding, but he knew that the claw of a lion would be much worse than this, so he didn't care. He was hurrying up, he was collecting these branches, he brought it to the guide. And she said, "I need more." He went for more, and all of a sudden she said, "Jack, that's enough, come here." She was building a tent out of these branches where they could hide inside. And he was like, No, it's okay, I can get a little bit more, we still have time." She said, "Jack, right now." And from the tone of her voice, the hair on his neck was standing up because she never raised her voice at him. And she knew it's business. The moment he turned around, he saw a lioness from the bushes. She was about 20 meters away from them. And the lioness was having the ears bent backwards. She was in this ducked position, and he knew that she's ready to attack. He went to that little shelter that the guide was building. He went underneath it. They could look over to the lions. They saw that there was a second lioness. And Jack was asking, "What shall we do now?" His heart was racing, he was shaking, he was nervous, he was sweating. His mind was going through different scenarios. He said, "There are these two lions, what shall we do?" And she said, "Well, you haven't seen the male then yet." And he looked over and he saw there's also the male lion. The lionesses were starting to sit down because they noticed that they wouldn't be able to approach them through those thorns. And Jack was thinking of ways how he could escape this trap. And he asked her once more, "What shall we do?" And she said, "Now we wait and we enjoy the lions." I said, "What? Are you kidding me? We can't. They're about to attack us. We have to escape." "No, you came here to Africa. You wanted to see the lions. Now is your chance. When you know you have done everything you can, you have to let it up to the universe." They have really done everything in that moment that they could. There was no escape of this. They were surrounded by lions. And she just said, "You know what? This moment we just have to calm down, relax. We can enjoy these majestic beings. That's why you came here for anyways. And we have to relax and let the universe decide what will happen." I'm sure you can think of a situation in your life where you have tried everything you could and you were still in a situation which didn't really seem like the ideal solution. You were still trapped in some way. But if you know you have done everything you can, you have to let go and let God.
And also, if you have done everything you can and you are frustrated that the problem is not changing or the situation is not changing, maybe you haven't done that for long enough. But if you feel that it has been long enough already, then it's really good to just let God. You're sending message to the universe, "I am willing and wanting to solve this situation, but it looks like it's not working. I'm letting this go. And maybe when you let go, something will come in your way, some information which you really needed, and it's gonna be solved, or it will help to resolve this issue much faster than you thought. So imagine they are in the really a little hill, a little tiny cage of made out of trees in between lions, and they are frightened, scared. They are absolutely not both. One, the guide is not scared, but the observer is extremely scared and frightened. If it would be a last moment of life of the observer, of this Czech, is not going to be very worthy a last moment, because he would be only scared. And this is how we live our life all the time. We think that it's going to continue, that tomorrow is another day, and in a week and in a month and in a year we still have a lot of time here. But of course we are positive, we are thinking positively, but what if we are sacrificing every moment of our life to this energy of fear, to be still feeling like we are living next to lions which are going to eat us all the time? There was also a study when a wolf was locked in a cage next to the cage of a lamb, and that lamb died just because of the fear, because the presence of the wolf next to it. And this is how I personally live my life very often, that I am so scared and frightened of things which can get me, and they will probably never get me, but they can, and the possibility is there, and then I lose myself in this, and it's not worthy. It's not worthy even for you to lose yourself, your energy, your life force, your moments on this planet. Look behind us, how beautiful it is here. It's not worthy for you to lose it for fear, because you are feeding fear energy. Then you're making it bigger for your life, for people around you, and if you are fearful, people around you will be fearful too. You attract what you send out.
In the moment they were surrounded by the branches and they were looking at the lions, he could imagine all the things that could happen. But in that present moment, there was no danger, there was no attack, there was just the beauty of these majestic lions being surrounded by nature. Yes, it's scary, but in the moment nothing was happening, so we are still stressing about what could happen, and that's what we are obsessed about, instead of just arriving in the present moment.
And one more story from my life is that I didn't want our dog Luna to leave this planet. I wished she would be here forever, like every dog owner. We loved her and love her still so much. But in that moment when she was leaving the planet, when she was transitioning, I was with her because I promised to be with her, but I had to let her go. And it was one of the hardest things ever. And I knew I can't resist anymore. I did everything I could in my power in that moment, and I just have to let it go. And it was the biggest gift I could give to myself and to her, to let go in peace. I just let her go and let her transition in love and in peace. Because if I would be pissed and scared and frightened, of course I was all of this, but
trying to give her more supplements or more things to fix
I
her.
was so scared, and in that moment it was so intense, and she just was leaving the planet and she was taking her last breaths. I knew I have to give her to this death, to this transition, to this process, and I can't hold her even with my emotions. Yes, underneath this was fear, everything, but I knew that if I will be there her last moments in a huge fear, it will never be worthy for me to remember that moment. So I suppressed all these emotions and I was there in love. So that's a very strong moment for me, and I think I've learned so much in those few minutes about life than ever, because if you are trying to really hold on to something and change it, and it's not working and it's destroying you and it's destructive, and then you have a moment of release in love, then it's everything, and then you have huge relief after that and forever.
Yes, that's a very good point. Like you release in a sense of love, in a sense of being one with the whole universe. Because in that moment, nothing bad can happen to you. You just know you did everything. Now is the moment to let go, and you do it with your heart, you do it with love. I'm pretty sure universe will do what's best for you.
Because Dr. Joe Dispenza says, I don't know about you, but about me. Universe has never let me down. So if you trust and if you know that this energy is here for you and works only for you, you can just let go and trust to this universe. Because, how can you trust that this tree is going to be so big? You'll have no idea, because you're not going to be maybe in your physical body once it reaches such a height. So you can't never know, right? But you can be sure that the universe is actually doing its work much better than we think with our limited minds.